Okay, here we go. Ooh, Arthur's here. Hello, Arthur.
Hello.
Hello, Max. Here we are.
Yeah, good night. Everybody, Max. Good to hear.
Good day again.
Okay, I think that's recording. Cool. All right, so what's been happening, Max?
Well, we'll kick straight back into it then, I guess. Part of the story that we've been weaving together, of course, is that we've got a waka called Waka Kotuku that I've seen right from the beginning as an ideal vessel for taking us from our fictional situation, lost at sea, back onto the land as a tribal people. And so Ngāti Wikitoria, Waka Kotuku, and the tika that goes around that will create a different environment. And the initiative right now that I've more or less got approval from our group to go ahead with you is that we're here saying that in the absence of responsibility from the leaders of the world, King Charles III in particular, we are reminding him as we salvage the waka at this time that he has obligations that he inherited from his mum. He's the ariki nui of the Waka Kotuku, with a couple of other Rio adjectives or describers that go with it, saying that this is the rare white bird of the single flight. Well, it only needs to make one flight, and that's the one that takes us all back to safety. So it's the big white bird of peace. And the story is, because of the history of kohuiarau, that we represent all the rest of the people on the planet if we wish to go back to that tribal way of doing things. And so we have a Waka Kotuku that's a fiction. It was gifted by hearsay on the 6th of February in 1840 to the 8th tribe, the tribe they named Ngāti Wikitoria, because they couldn't say Victoria, or they chose not to. Now you possibly, who knows?
You mentioned 6th of February because that's Waitangi Day, of course. So that
correct.
So is that?
And so it was when they signed the document. You see, what was buried and on the 6th of February, and that's in danger of coming back out. So, hello, that's what we're talking, is that there was a offer made for the partners, because that was a partnership agreement that they were adding on, and some claim that the marriage ceremony was occupied in 1835 and that the thing that was signed in 1840 was the prenup. Yeah, I say that. So the wakaputangi was the marriage ceremony, and the treaty is the prenup. But ironically, both agreements, they have to be read in the Rio, and they have to be understood from the intent of the people at the time and what they intended. So we've inherited this Waka Kotuku and never knew about it. Mm. So it's a fiction and sort of a hearsay fiction, and we're claiming the right to salvage it now as Ngāti Wikitoria. We can only exist with kohuiarau's pupapa.
Now it's
timely. We needed to do it.
So it got ignited in 1997. Did they have the numbers? And has it reseeded again?
They had the numbers. Perhaps we hit the history, and just in brief, it doesn't matter who was involved. They brought the whole kaupapa out of hibernation, and they set it up. They had their upper house and their lower house. They had their elections. They sent, I think it was a half a dozen questions to Elizabeth.
Okay.
Using the free carriage of Westminster, and they received their replies.
Okay.
And the key reply for our work is that the phrasing was that when Ngāti Wikitoria and Hapu learned to work together, then kohuiarau was the de jure governance system for this land. Okay, now, hidden in the background is the perception that the king and the queen have never tried to break, and that is that they only wear a crown. They aren't the crown. And this is the problem. The core of the problem is that the original agreements were made between the native people and the crown and its agents.
Okay, I see what you're saying there. So
the king or the queen was really just a puppet for the crown, which was the bankers and the Vatican,
which is seems to be rational in that sense. So as far as the bankers winning everything, yeah. And then
it's the common nemesis of all people on the planet.
They always got the front people that are behind, yeah. Okay, and so they specialise in assassination and replacement, so no one knows that there's not been any continuity. And so in 1997,
I've discovered a lot of that here in this country too.
Did it get ignited? Did they have the numbers, and then
they did? And what happened was they sent, in order to consolidate it, the Taiapuru had given an American native group a banking charter on the back of their Akaroa and Akarana banking charters. That there's a whole bloody confusing story there too. And in return for that, a gift had come from the Native Americans. And remember, they're running casinos now, so it wasn't a difficult gift at that time. I think it was at the end of the 90s, they sent 20 million, and then there were stories about 200 million being offered for a project in the Chathams. So effectively what happened was that kohuiarau came out of hibernation, was running parallel side by side with the existing system. Of course, the existing system wouldn't acknowledge it, but they couldn't attack it. And the bankers effectively threw money on the table and said, let's watch the rats and mice come out to play.
Oh, and that was somewhere around 2000 or something like that. And
2000, in the early 2000s, so the whole thing got put back to sleep. But it had come out of hibernation, and they'd received the communication from the Queen, which was absolutely vital. And, of course, that went back to the New Zealand government, and they buried it. So we've been working for the last 3 or 4 years to say, can we get that and extract that information? And it seems to be difficult. So it's word of mouth. But I do trust Eddie. He was a warranted member of the resurrected kohuiarau.
Okay.
My gut is that there was a deception put in place way back. And it was deliberate in order to set up this time of argument, if it ever became a problem.
Divide and conquer thing, yeah.
Correct. And given that everything was about the resources, the deals had already been done before the people of the land united and got their act together to present a united front in the early 1800s. The deals that are important appear to have been done shortly after James Cook came down, and rumours are that he towed a log back to the UK.
Right. I mean, yeah.
And it was valued in gold by weight. And that was when the early agreements were set up. But they weren't set up at tribal level. They were set up with different families.
Oh, yeah.
Deliberately, because the parasites evolved on the global food chain over millennia.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very good at what it does.
Yeah.
So then it sows a seed, which is not quite true, and all of a sudden everyone believes a story which is never going to go anywhere.
Now, you sent me some emails. Did you want to talk about those?
Well, yeah, okay. Let's just touch base on that letter to the King Charles III.
Okay.
We called it Charles the Champion.
I should better find it.
I'll tell the story, Barrett, because it's a kind of interesting one. It involves colourful local people who I believe have been strung along.
Yeah,
so we had Greg Cook. Greg Cook turned up at our meetings, and he'd been linking up with Eddie and set up the Home Guard Global, which is a kaupapa that was incorporated within kohuiarau up until 1947, when kohuiarau was put in hibernation after the Second World War. And I would argue that part of the reason for the Second World War was so they could do that.
Wow.
Because up until then, kohuiarau sort of had a place, but the Crown had been consistently, aggressively seeking to take them out, right? In that 1860, I think it was, or 1870, somewhere about then, they'd donated a lot of land around Tamaki Makaurau, Kohimaramara, for the Kohimaramara hui, which was to set up a kotahitanga parliament. And that, so anyway, I'm diverging a little bit. The money and the land went missing, and that's been the story ever since, right? So we were told by Greg Cook, long story short, I'll get back to where I should be. We were told by Greg Cook that his job as Lord High Admiral, that he'd somehow inherited this role from Wakanini, and there would appear to be some sort of documentation that was some skullduggery done here in the early days, setting people up as admirals to control trade. And it was, I believe, part of the divide and conquer game. Join us and you'll do well. And if you don't join us, well, that's all right. We'll get to the guy down the road.
Yeah.
And so, rather than going to the Indian shop on the corner, they go to the Chinese shop on the other side of the road.
Right.
And they've been playing that ever since. I mean, the Jesuits were behind the French, the English, the Portuguese, and the Spanish, weren't they?
They're all wanting a piece.
But anyway, we'll go back to it. So Greg Cook says that his job as the High Admiral is to take the head of the king off if he's misbehaving. And we all go, oh, that sounds interesting. Hello.
Now, this is King Charles one, or is this another one?
Yeah. So over a little over a year ago, these were the stories that Greg Cook was telling us. So we went to a ceremony on the 28th of October in Russell, not at Waitangi.
Oh, yes. I think Arthur was there. Yep.
Yeah, Arthur was. That's when I first met Arthur, so he was witness to what happened. Our group had created that letter that you've got, which is, I've called it Charles the Champion, and in that we introduce him to the fact that we are Ngāti Wikitoria, named after his ancestor. We're tribal people. We've inherited the waka. He's inherited the role of Ariki Nui.
Right.
And as Ariki Nui, we'll use a thing we call the common sense tool, or our digital toolbox, for a referendum and social credit, and to take the digital ID threat away from Mr. Klaus Schwab and his mob, or Larry the Fink, as it appears to be happening now.
When was that sent to you within Kui?
We gave that to him that weekend I met Arthur, so it was the 28th of October, 2024.
But you gave the letter to
Greg Cook to deliver to the king, and it was never delivered.
Oh.
So that means that the Admiralty is in dishonour, as if the Admiralty is in Greg Cook's hands, as he says it was.
I see. So you're putting the pressure. You're like trying to make out a principle, and trying to find out the structure.
We've got the story that says that Mr. King Charles III has to give up his game with the WEF, the WHO, the Unholy See, and all the rest of the alphabet soup game. Your FBI, your CIA, your blah, blah, blah. And he's got to get with the program. And the new program is that as the leader, he takes us where we agree to go. We've already made our rights of passage on the Waka clear. We've agreed that we'll disagree because we live in Ngāpuhi country. They know how to say no. But we agree also that climb on the Waka, we're only going where we all agree to go. Why would we get on it otherwise? And that's the kotahitanga that we can offer back to our partners, because they've all been so divided and they don't know whose story's right. So our Waka is the neutral table, where all the stories can come, and we're assembling the library that can't be attacked at the moment. So we can put all people's documents and their claims, their whakapapa, it can all be checked up on, and everyone can come to agree to disagree or agree to what's effectively each person's individual story. Because only in the oral traditions, only the person who knows the story knows the story. And that's our reality, is that we're bringing together different cultures that had different intentions, and nothing in the early days happened in a vacuum. But given that everything has to be written down, we've created that letter to the king. And so what I'm doing now is going public with it and saying, well, we tried to get it to you through the traditional agreed route, which is to the admiral of your lost at sea admiralty game, right? Because we know that the square mile of the city of London, not London City, but the city of London, is where the admiralty is, Chancery Lane and the temples of court, the Middle Temple and Gray's Inn and Lincoln Inn, and the banking system of the Rothschilds. It's effectively the Pope's office. The Queen has to get out of her carriage and curtsy to the Lord Mayor before she can enter the city.
Oh, okay, it's all
so what we're at the moment, we're sitting on, that's a global, should we say, people are the wool's being taken away from our eyes globally. And people are waking up to this fact that there's a deception that's been around for a long time with the whole colonising game, and that's that the Crown and the King or Queen of England are two different things.
Right.
And so, like people don't know who their enemy is. They've got their fucking the enemy's in our pocket. Sorry, I've been told I've got to keep language sorted.
Your phone.
If you have a look at the little bits of gold that we're exposed to in our daily life, you'll see that the one coin holds a kiwi on it.
Oh, yes.
And the two coin holds a kotuku on it. The bankers know how important the icon of the kotuku is.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
It's the symbol of kotahitanga, where the two can become as one. When we become one, we're all Kiwis.
I see. Yeah, okay, that's good.
Okay, at the moment, we're all lost as to whether we're tangata whenua. We could come together if we realised that we were tangata o te whenua. Okay, tangata whenua means people of the land, whereas tangata o te whenua means people from the placenta.
So, I mean, you were talking about bringing all these stories together. It's obviously important to you. What is it? Is that to just try and get the story clearer, or is it to...
That's so that everyone can feel respected, my friend. What I've come to know over the 25 or more years I've been working closely with the Maori people at that sort of what I would call ariki level.
Oh, yes.
Because there's a number of layers, eh? You don't get to be a kamatua until you've got hair this colour.
Yeah.
But you can be a ariki from birth.
Okay.
Or you can become an ariki by showing your true colours. Okay, because that's effectively the tribes and the communities were held together and woven by people who could see what was really going on.
But I guess the point I'm trying to get to, do you feel that it's necessary, like as a healing kind of thing, or would it help like bring people together?
I believe it's my very strong intuition is that if everyone's allowed to tell the story in a space where it's respected and honoured, then they will feel heard. Okay. Even though no one's listening, the fact that it can be there so people can go in and everyone can refer to it. And that's what we're trying to do. No, sorry, we're not trying. We're in the process of getting ready the tool that will allow that. And it's really just a matter of where that gets operated and how. And that is that you can put your story into a lockbox so it can't be censored, changed, or altered. Because that's the problem we've been facing. People started writing shit down, and then it was copied and copied and copied, and the 10th copy wasn't quite the same as the first copy.
Okay.
And the intentions, the intentions keep shifting. With tikanga, nothing's written down. We agree. And if perhaps back in the day, if you transgress tikanga, then it was the last thing you did.
Okay.
The consequences of fucking up were way more severe then, but we just pretend it's not severe. I mean, if you fuck up, the big red truck comes, bang, you're gone.
The big red truck? What? Sounds like a fire engine.
I mean, life is a gift that can be gone in an instant if we are in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, no, but we've got to we all sort of pretty much live like we're immortal, don't we?
Yeah, I like to think so, eh?
Untouchable and all the rest of it. But I believe that the offering of that Awaka Kotuku as the partner, that's kind of like the little brother, and says, listen, we can't partner with you guys if you're all squabbling about who's who in the zoo.
Oh, yeah. And, so
and what's the way forward? We identify this as a way forward because we matter. We're prepared to sit beside you as partners and work it out with you, and we're the only ones that are saying that.
Okay.
Everyone else is saying, no, fuck you. Right. It's the same rules for everyone. You guys don't get anything more important anymore. Let's do a David Seymour and let's cancel all that shit from way back there. We're all just one. Dong. Job done. Forget what the ancestors want. Forget what the ancestors intended.
That's
why we've got such a lot of trouble here, because the folk that are running the show don't know how to listen to shit.
And I do agree with the spirit of the ancestors. I think they were way wiser than I think we take it for granted, because we're all modernized people, and I think they could see the future, and they knew the way people are all around that time, 1770s. You had the American Revolution, and the French, I suppose, but they were just cleverer. They were smarter, weren't they? More clever, yeah.
I think there's been a long battle going on this planet as the parasite. I call it the parasite, as the parasite's established itself, because I think it's recent, and I think that we all had ways of dealing with tribal life patterns. I mean, for my heritage, it was the Druids, and they kept the coherence and community with their songs and their stories. It's the same thing. Legends and stories about, the different parts of the land have different, power. I know I've been called to different parts of the land with my wife, and I like, I enjoy to go, yourself, you go and sit certain places that feels real nice to be there.
Yeah. The
like taking a spiritual shower and you go somewhere else and it feels like shite.
Yeah. Now I was thinking the other day, is like, if people could come from the past and dropped into our time right now, they'd probably be very shocked at how things are and the way we live. And, it's the boiling frog thing, we just adapt. And I think it's still happening. But people, they might not, cost of living, blah, blah, they see it in that form, but they don't see the energies doing it, or the people behind it, or the future, right? So there's, what am I trying to say? I think people adapt, but so it's people like us. We can see signs, and we want to out. We want to gate out of this trap. What am I trying to say? If people could come from the past and see where we're at, I think it'd be a lot more clearer. But because we just slowly adapt, so how do we get through to people? Look, let's change it up for the better. How do we do it?
I think we role model it with what we're choosing to do and explaining why we're choosing to do it. I hear you loud and clear. I'm at the point in the journey where it's not my job to convince anyone of anything anymore, which is why I've been guided to do what I'm guided to do, and that is to let's show a neutral table for all the stories and get on with it. And right now I'm serious about what we're doing, and that the letter to the king goes public. We've got the waka. We think it's fit for purpose, and we would invite people to join kohuiarau and come and support us in whatever way they see fit.
And so that,
and I think.
Carry on. Sorry. Carry on.
I feel that, you know, us talking about all of this. I mean, it's only small at the moment, but let's remember a seed gets planted in the dark, and the light that's shining for it is from within. And then it pops out, and it can become part of the daylight of Tane.
Well,
we live in the realm of Tane, who established the light between the mother and the father. And so there's a story of creation here that we can fit into, real nice. And it helps us to learn to listen again. Because to me, what you're talking about is the fact that the frog didn't realize it was stuck in a box.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you on a cell phone.
Yeah.
And we know that the strokes and everything that we're sharing can be looked at if they want to. That's why they were flying circles over me last week. So they've got the number of our cell. We're in a digital prison.
I see what you're saying. Cell phone. I didn't think of it like that. Okay.
They've got your number. They know where you are. They can track you.
Yeah, that's why.
They know exactly where you are.
That's why I've given
you
up.
Can go.
That's why I've given up anonymity. Because we've all just got to go and be ourselves. So you're wasting your time trying to hide, you know.
Correct. This is the time of the alchemist and the living flame. We step into our truth. That's tikanga, and we talk the talk, and we walk the walk to the best of our ability. And if we get whacked and clobbered and fall over, we learn. We stand back up. I mean, the human animal and all animals learn from their mistakes. Yeah. And avoidance behaviour is just that, you know. So we've got to get past that. We've got to create a realm where people are encouraged to find their creativity that's naturally inherent within them. At the moment, we're all fucking struggling to survive and doing this avoidance behaviour because, God forget, you know, we've got to be anonymous.
Yeah, anonymity.
Or anonymity. You know, it's all a figment of our imagination, and it was anyway. Everything we do is recorded for eternity. It's in the timeline. It's the part of us that's unconscious. That's what I think, that we're on the brink of all feeling into together what I call the singularity, what quantum physicists call the singularity, or the unity quantum field. There are a number of names for it. And then you can go back to religion and saying, it's God consciousness for all of us. But to me, it's just to know and be comfortable with the flame that doesn't burn. It just comforts us.
Now, I was just imagining on your website having a Ngāti Wikitoria or all over kohuiarau enrollment numbers, and we get closer and closer to ignition point, you know, closer, getting hotter and hotter. Boom, that would be quite exciting to see.
Yeah, let's just say what you're talking there is you're entering the realm of diplomacy.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, sorry.
Okay. Yes. Because we've sort of picked up a treasure, and we think we know what the treasure is, and we can see it there. Okay. But it's not ours completely.
Right.
So that's why I'm focused on. That's why I'm focused with you on going public with our waka katuku, because that's been given to us, and as long as we maintain our relationship with the hapu and listen and operate it, because the whole thing only exists within the kohuiarau kaupapa.
Yes.
But the kohuiarau kaupapa has gone to sleep because it was so severely attacked by the bankers. It was designed to happen that way. I mean, we know, we read their books. That's their plan.
Now, is that 2000? Was that the 2000 time?
Sorry?
Was that around 2000?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So they came back into it, and the bankers could see what they were going to do. So they maintained their divide and conquer and said, fuck you very much, go away. And it's only the fact that a number of them were tenacious and hung in there, that Eddie was still around to meet up with Billy TK and try and get it all kicked off again then. and then came to the barn, and we've been doing it ever since.
Oh, good one.
So we've effectively stepped in and said, you can't do this alone. There's an old guy called Lester Bowden, who's the reason why I've kept doing this, and he was the Ngāti Wikitoria rep for Ngāpui. So he was our area representative. He did what I'm effectively playing a little role for at the moment until we can put it across the line so it becomes real for people to go and use the tools that we're going to develop, I would like to suggest, because the way it was set up in 1840 was appropriate for the day. Mm. But we've now got 5 million people, and 80% of them plus sit on the Wakakotuku. Most of that 80% don't really know anything about any of this story and probably don't care, because they're doing very well, thank you. And many of the new arrivals are doing quite well, because compared to where they came from, this is bloody paradise. And, you know, you just got to be prepared to work and you can do okay. Yeah. Ask any Indian or Chinese man.
Oh, where I'm living, there's a local wharf, and there's so many young families, Indian, Chinese. Oh, they love the place, you know, but we take it for granted. But now there's some other emails here. Grant's letter of something there. Grant's letter. Oh,
is that the Grant? There was a cover letter. The first in that series was a cover letter, and that would be called Grant's letter of sanction, the Admiral. And that's really the cover letter that we provided with the letter to the King, saying, welcome on board as the Ariki Nui, and please assume your responsibility and tell your friends WEF, WHO, and all the rest of them to go take a jump and bury their heads where the sun doesn't shine. And come and work with us and redeem yourself. Become a servant of the people. It's the way an honourable leader should do, right? And that's why I've got the sort of the confidence to go ahead with what I'm doing. It's the simple reason that someone stepped in and said, well, that's my job. I'll support you, Max. I don't need to go out into the public. Go ahead.
Okay.
So we've sort of been given the go-ahead to bring on board as many as we can, but we do it on the story of that here is a vessel that will address the issue of being lost at sea in Admiralty and treated like a dead person. That's most common knowledge to the common law groups.
Right. And that's great how you can bring everyone to a bracket, so to speak, you know, where it just makes things so much smoother in my mind, like where you jump on board the waka and you're in this jurisdiction. Or
correct. Everyone's got the same problem, right? We're looking for remedy, and the remedy is that they're keeping us in the jurisdiction of the dead, Admiralty jurisdiction of the Judeo-Christian tradition, and we're saying we've got something for the living.
Yeah. Okay. And there's another. So you got the Sanction Admiral. Is that another one? Sanction Admiral, was that one? Sanction.
That should be the one that reads, here's what we want you to do.
Right.
Blah blah. We don't. The other letter was one. What happened at that event? Arthur might be able to confirm that there was a fella came up from the top of the South Island, James, and James was promoted to area commander by Greg Cook on the day. And on the evening, he was demoted, and they called the cops and tried to bail him to Eddie and Jojo for $50,000. So he proved to be a bit of an idiot.
Okay. Well,
anyway,
maybe he's still got a part to play if he can get things right. I don't know how that all works, but
well, I think we're going straight to the King right now, and we'll do it in public. That's what we're doing. We're noticing him. I'll figure out how the backup does as a result of us having this discussion this afternoon. But we've effectively said we're not waiting for the Admiral. It's been over a year. Okay. He's not replied. Because that second letter was he demoted James, and so we wrote him another letter and said, "Hey, please explain your behaviour." Because really, I don't know if Arthur was aware of what went down with that whole incident, but it was disgustingly crazy.
Yeah. It sounds, I mean,
so no, we're not waiting for Greg Cook. We don't expect him to come and assist us with this matter. We're taking responsibility and saying, okay, we're ready to grow up with you guys and take fiscal management, because it's right from the beginning. It was about being in charge of their own revenues for the land, the rental of the land and the trade of the resources, right? And the wars, this is little known because it's not written in history, the wars were majorly created to take out the people who are saying they were cutting down the trees. They're our ancestors. You do not do that.
Well, that was the major asset they were after, weren't they?
That's why they kept the wars going, and then they stripped the land and the last of it, and then they turned it into an agricultural place because, you know, that was the natural next thing to do.
Yes.
So,
yes, that's what Arthur's been saying, and now the bankers are buying it all back. With the Kiwis spoiled the land, and then they're going to get it back for, you know, with their printed money.
Yeah. The royal family,
they might not even need money, mate. They might
the crown.
Little shit.
Have been Mickey Mouse from day one. And the evidence you can see, I've mentioned this before, if you go up Tinakori Road, up past the Beehive, you go up towards the tunnel, you'll see on the left-hand side there's a gate into the Botanical Gardens. If you go into that gate and go up to where the big greenhouse is, and then walk from the greenhouse back down through the old cemetery to back down towards the Beehive, and just look at the gravestones, and that gives the whole game away. Right at the top, I think there's Sid Holland's on there's a statue at the top, and to the left-hand side, as you go down, right on the top of that hill, this is the Peking Wood, it's the same in the Maori world, where the hierarchy gets to the top of the hill, burial places, and you go down according to the ranking within the society. It's no different in Wellington. And if you go to that cemetery on the side, it's fenced off, and that's all the wealthy Rothschild agents are buried there. The Levins, the Staines, all these were the Rothschild agents who provided the money for the setting up of New Zealand. They were in the background of this colony from day one. But that has been conveniently written out of the history books in this country. We have never been told. But if you sort of follow the way the British Commonwealth was started up, and this royal family thing has just been used as camouflage, really, hiding what's actually propelling the thing from behind the scenes. The deal, you mentioned the Jesuits before. The Rothschilds became part of the Catholic Church through the Jesuits way back in about 1886. The Catholic Church has been controlled with Rothschild money for a long time. The Jesuit thing and the Rothschilds are the same. And I noticed this even more so in Australia. The nerve centre of the Jesuits is in a town called Clare in South Australia. You can go there if you ever go to South Australia. It's about 100 miles north of Adelaide. All the old monasteries, the Jesuit monasteries are still there. Just ask around, you'll see. The Jesuit influence in both these colonies was huge. But at the same time, the Rothschilds had a solid grip on Catholicism way back, long before these colonies were set up. But these things you got to sort of, I had to figure out myself. There's a lot of the other stuff. It's so confusing, and it's been made confusing for a reason. It's so we can't see what's really going on. You got to stand outside what you've been told and start from day one again, and have a look at it. So just listening to yourself and working things out for yourself. The more you listen to other people and other people's opinions, the more confusing it becomes. And you're talking about this fusion of people from the northern climates. I call it the attitude of the latitude. the latitude of the lines that go around the world from the equator parallel to the North and South Pole. And the character and the way these people live can be worked out from the latitude where they come from originally. And the people from the northern latitudes, it's bloody cold, it's dark, and with you go north, it's dark. You have to be extremely tough, well organised and hard to survive in those climates. Now, as you go south, where the sunlight percentage increases, you don't need that toughness and hardness and organised lifestyle in order to live. I mean, you can go down the coast of Africa, you know, and it's like a coconut will fall off a tree. There's a mango there. There's plenty of fish, plenty of sunshine. You don't need to provide warmth for the winter, all that sort of stuff. It's a totally different lifestyle. And people evolve into what they are from exactly where that part of the earth where they did evolve. Now what we're trying to do since the Industrial Revolution, where masses of people can travel around the world, we're trying to mix these two different types of people together. And this is the process we're going through now. And it's like welding two bits of metal together. It's going to be a whole of a lot of heat in the process. But once it's fused, it will cool down and settle off and become unified. But we're going through this process at the moment. It will come. You know, in New Zealand is unique, actually, of all the countries I've been in around the world, where the two different peoples actually cohere amazingly well. The main reason, I believe, is because they agreed on a thing called the treaty a long time ago, which we're going to celebrate this Friday. And I don't know if enough people realise the power and the influence that treaty has had on the way we live today. They think it was some old piece of paper that was written a couple of hundred years ago. But the influence of that treaty, in my opinion, is huge in the way this country is today. And, you know, Greg Cook, I've been to two of his meetings at Tarpeka, and he seems quite proud of the fact that he'll be there on Friday and he'll be stirring up the shit and probably getting the fist fights. I mean, that's the way he acts. And I'm not impressed with that guy one little bit. But apart from that, I can go on for an hour. Just a couple of occasions I've had things to do with Greg Cook. And the people that have been associated with him, that takes another program. But this is all part of the fusing it together of the two nations. And we're the two different types of people. Now, three of us are white, basically. And there's every shade in between. And before all those colours come together and become one, what belongs to this part of the world, there's bound to be turbulence and emotion and friction and what have you. Anyway, I can go on. I made a few notes, but that'll do for me for the moment. But just sort of make that point.
Cheers, Arthur. I've got about 10 minutes or 9 minutes to let you know.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, that's good sharing.
Yeah, it's just the way I mean, we're all seeing it different ways. And we're going to see that confusion, Pete. Although we're trying to achieve the same thing, we're all seeing this problem from a different angle, and we've got to somehow get all unite those different opinions. But if anybody's going to do it, it'll be in New Zealand. South Africa will never do it.
What you're touching on from my perspective is the Hopi Indian prophecy, and I have found that also here in Waitaha prophecies, and I think it's hidden behind all of the different spiritual movements. Many have seen this land as the land of the first light. It's also known as one of the outposts of the ancient Lemuria or Lemuria. I mean, there's many different stories, but it really is for me, it's a vibration. It's a frequency space, and it represents that which we're all, I believe, attracted to at this point in our journey as a vision, and that is where harmony between the people is the dominant frequency, and that's where the people's prime focus is on their harmony with the Mother Nature that they have come to embody as a living aspect of her, and I call it as an aspect of her dreaming. So for me, I live in the time of prophecy when the sacred feminine is restored on the planet through the dreaming of Sophia, and I was honoured to discover where the bug was in the program, and we went through our experience and debugged the program. And then out comes Murray. You've met Murray Barrick.
Yep.
Along comes Murray and gives me the name of the 2 pass sites at that particular land site that we did that work, and it matches perfectly the story.
You're quite positive, eh?
So
there's a lot of good stuff happening with the groups you're meeting and all that. Things are happening. And
let's just say people coming into my focus now are all, not all of them, but enough of them, the ones that matter, are coming and stepping into clarity, so that I'm okay, that's where I'm working now. And it's not even serious work. It's just, oh, now I know where you are, you know where I am, and now I'm ready to do this.
Okay.
Because I couldn't have done what you and I are doing right now if I didn't feel I had the confidence and the backing of my hapu partners.
Right.
And at hereditary ariki level. You know, I'm talking with someone who told me my ancestor, my great-great-grandfather, that's only 2 or 3 generations we're talking, he was the tohunga of the past site Oio, O-I-O, or 010. And he looked at me and I said, because we debugged the program there, Murray, and he went, so? He says, it's binary, isn't it? 010, Oio, Oio Mata Kore. The great void of potential, and it's translated, and I'll share that little image with you. I think I might have sent you that. It's translated as existence. So Oeo is existence. And when you've got existence, then you have to have movement. So that's why the other parsite is Operi, named after the wind. And it was the wind that guided Alana and I on our journey. Came and told her he was known as the Taniwha.
Okay, well, getting
and he was global.
Oh, that's exciting stuff. But maybe we'll have to do it.
We'll finish it off with a bit of that etheric stuff.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a whole episode of etherical stuff and really go deep into it. That would be maybe next week if you want to, or whenever.
Well, we'll see how it unfolds, because I'm very interested in what we're doing now. And as I say, I think I'm going to get feedback from key people now, so that might determine where we go next. But, hey, I feel pretty good about what we're doing. And the group that we're part of, it came together, it grew, and then it sort of disintegrated. But now it's got a different feel to it.
Oh, that's good.
People are coming in and moving through and picking up. I mean, like you've come in.
We got 10
you've
times.
Gone, wow, this is pretty.
We got 10 times the views. We got 10 times the views on Facebook when I relay it to that. And I could actually, I could throw $20 at it, and they'll give me something like 2.4 thousand views. But I mean, that was a question actually, because this is, would you say this is the enrolments for New Zealanders? I mean, because how does that work? They have to be, wouldn't they?
What's that?
If you were to enrol in the kohuiarau, would you have to be a New Zealander or at least a citizen, or how does that work? Do you live here? What's your thoughts on that?
No. At this stage, we're putting the message out for people here to do it, but people from anywhere could do it. They wouldn't be, we won't be calling on them. When we get the 1%,
yes, yeah.
This is an internal metric from kohuiarau, and it was in place and they achieved it at the end of the 90s. Why that is, I don't know. But once they get 1% of the voting population enrolled, that will trigger elections.
Yes, yes.
And then they can put their lower house back in place. That calls the upper house back into place, because they can't exist separately.
Righto.
However, at the moment, that one's been pulled out and put back to sleep, and the other one needs voting from the people at hapu level.
Yeah.
So we've got hereditary ariki and representatives who could be kamatira or rangatira, people who weave and do well for their community. So they will be the reps that move into the lower house. But as we set this all up, I'm proposing that the welcome on board the Kotuku personal ID choice means that we can be involved in ongoing referendum.
Yes. Yeah.
So we get over any need for local hui. If locally we deal with shit that we need to deal with. But if we need to deal with on a national basis, that's when we go to hui nationally, and we can do that by digital constant referendum.
Yeah, sounds
for
good.
members. And
good.
That's all part of what we're offering to climb on board.
So there's no harm. There's no. It's free. There's no. You're not locked in to anything. You can unsubscribe, I guess, and you can whatever you want to call it, unenroll. And
there's no obligation to have a say when you're called to have a say.
And we just need those numbers, and then boom, it ignites.
Yeah,
correct. We're igniting it right now with the concepts of it, but once the numbers come up, then they'll trigger a nationwide vote.
Yeah.
That on a Monday night they're meeting to make sure they've got an admin team to cover the whole country.
Okay.
At this stage, we're doing it all on the smell of nothing.
Yeah.
So we have to call for kohuiarau if we're going to go for a hui and things like that, but that's just for the moment, because we really need to shift the way we value each other completely, because it's been so tied up with money and the way we do things. That's impacted our whole behaviour socially as animals.
Yeah, definitely.
And so what we're offering is something that people need to think about it, because they have to take responsibility for themselves and figure out how they can move into a community where they're adding value. Because the system that they've created right now is so artificially maintained that no one really knows what's valuable anymore. So we've got a bunch of drunken idiots running around on the dole or whatever, and so everyone else is pointing their finger and going, oh, yeah, that's why it's not working, sort of thing. So let's just say, the way we value each other, and that's why the whole concept of the flame bank that we introduced a couple of weeks ago is at the core of what we're doing, because we want to introduce mana tokens as a way of reciprocating amongst ourselves and creating social value, or what is it, social credit, I think they're calling it.
Social credit score,
Big Brother watching over us.
Yeah.
Hey, we are the social credit, and we are the data they want to control, so we need to take responsibility for ourselves, and we don't need them anymore.
Right. On that note, we might have to cut it down with the timing with the broadband here, but there you go.
Okay.
That went quick, and I'm excited.
It does.
And
I will thank you, and look forward to talking more with you and hearing more questions from people. Perhaps anyone that's listening that's got questions of. And if you can field them through your
okay, they can leave
Freedom Hub
comments on the Facebook, or they can come on the Telegram, subscribe to NZ Freedom Hub Radio, and then they can get on as a guest. Okay.
Well, hey, I think what we're doing at the moment is going pretty well. I'm happy, and just as important as me being happy is that I'm getting good feedback from the folk around us.
Oh, that's good.
So you've got congratulations from James at the top of the South Island. He says, mate, he said, you're doing there what we're doing here. Good on you. And others have said that your questions are helping to keep me focused. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, I better run.
And all good, brother.
Okay, doke. I'll see you guys. Cheers.
Okay. Good one, Barry. Good one, Barry.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Good night.